The grand hall of the intergalactic Concordat gleamed with bioluminescent crystals, casting prismatic light across the assembled dignitaries. Representatives from 47 species had gathered for the ceremonial bonding trials, a tradition designed to forge alliances through marriage between royal bloodlines. Princess Anna of Zaridia stood at the edge of the crystalline platform, her violet skin marked by deep, jagged scars that ran from her temple to her jaw. The whispers were louder than usual tonight. "Such a shame," murmured a Velconian ambassador, his 4 eyes blinking in synchronized pity. She was once considered the most beautiful princess in 3 sectors. "The battle against the Void Swarm ruined her," another replied. "What prince would want a scarred bride?" Anna's fingers tightened at the edges of her ceremonial robes. They didn't know, or perhaps they didn't care that? Those scars represented the 300 lives she'd saved when she'd personally piloted a damaged warship through enemy lines. While her father's fleet had retreated, she'd stayed behind, drawing fire until the civilian transports escaped. The explosion that followed had torn through her cockpit, melting half the viewing shield. The superheated glass had kissed her face, leaving permanent marks of her courage. One by one, the suitors approached the platform, each taking a moment to consider before moving on. A Thurian prince with scales of gold shook his head apologetically. A wealthy merchant lord from the Kashan Dominion barely glanced at her before turning away. Even the younger princes, those desperate for alliances, found excuses to pass her by. Then the human delegation entered. Humanity was still considered a newcomer to galactic politics barely 2 centuries since first contact, and already they'd made themselves invaluable. Their soldiers were fierce, their engineers brilliant, and their diplomats surprisingly astute. But they were also unpredictable, guided by strange emotions and stranger loyalties. James Chen, the human representative, walked with quiet confidence. He wore the formal uniform of the Terran Diplomatic Corps' midnight blue with silver accents that caught the light. His dark hair was neatly styled, his features classically handsome by any species standard. He'd been described in society circles as perhaps the most attractive human to ever grace the Concordat's halls. Several alien princesses straightened as he passed, hope flickering in their eyes. The Andromedan Duchess actually stepped forward, her crystalline wings unfurling in a display meant to captivate. James smiled politely and continued walking. Directly toward Anna, the hall fell silent. Anna's breath caught as James stopped before her platform. His brown eyes met hers, not glancing at the scars, not flinching away, but truly seeing her. He bowed, the gesture precise and respectful. "Princess Anna of Zaridia," he said, his voice carrying clearly through the stunned silence. "I am Captain James Chun of Earth. Would you honor me with a conversation?" Anna's voice came out steadier than she felt. "You may approach, Captain." James climbed the 3 steps to her platform. Up close, she could see the small details others might miss: a faint scar on his knuckles, the calluses of someone who'd held weapons, the alertness in his eyes that spoke of military training. "You commanded the Starfall's Pride at the Battle of Kepler's Gate," he said quietly. It wasn't a question. Anna blinked in surprise. "You know of that battle?" "Every human military academy studies it," James replied. "You held off an entire Void Swarm attack wing with a damaged cruiser and a skeleton crew. Your tactical maneuver, the one they now call Anaz Gambit, saved 3,000 civilians and turned the tide of the war in that sector. You're a legend in our strategic courses." Heat rose in Anna's cheeks, a physiological response her species shared with humans. No one had spoken of that battle in months. Her own people had seemed eager to forget, embarrassed by the princes who'd returned scarred and broken. "The scars?" she began. "Are proof," James interrupted gently, "that you were willing to pay the price for others' lives. In my culture we have a saying, scars are tattoos with better stories. Yours tell a story of courage that I find—" He paused, searching for words, extraordinarily beautiful. Anna felt something crack inside her chest, a wall she'd built brick by brick over the lonely months since her injury. "The other suitors are fools," James said flatly. "On Earth, we value what a person has done, not just what they look like." Though for what it's worth, Your Highness, I find you stunning exactly as you are." The sincerity in his voice was unmistakable. Anna had been trained since childhood to detect lies, to read the subtle tells of different species. James meant every word. "Why?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "You could have chosen anyone here. Princesses without scars, without baggage, without courage, without sacrifice, without the kind of strength I'd want in a partner." James smiled, and it transformed his already handsome face into something radiant. "Princess Anna, I didn't come here looking for a pretty face. I came looking for someone worthy of standing beside humanity as we build our place among the stars. Someone who understands what it means to protect those who cannot protect themselves." He extended his hand, palm up, a human gesture of offering. "I'm not asking for your answer tonight. I'm only asking for the chance to know you. The real you, not the version these people see." Anna looked at his hand, then at his face. In his eyes, she saw something she hadn't seen in anyone else's gaze since the battle. Respect, admiration, possibility. She placed her hand in his. The hall erupted in shocked murmurs, but Anna barely heard them. James's smile widened, his fingers warm around hers. "Thank you," he said softly. As James led her from the platform, Anna realized something profound. The scars hadn't ruined her, they'd simply revealed who was worthy of her. Every prince who'd turned away had failed a test they didn't even know they were taking. But this human, this handsomest of men from a young and fierce species, had seen what truly mattered. And for the first time since the battle, Princess Anna felt beautiful again.